We're now on Daf Kuf Chaf Beis Amud Beis, the last Amud in the masechet. The Mishnah had quoted the Chachamim as Lo Tehei Kohenes Kifundokis, as if to say that there's some sort of chisaron with regard to the Pundokis, and therefore, in the case of Kohenes, she doesn't suffer from that chisaron. And that's the basis on which the Chachamim built a Kalvachomer, that if Fundakus, who's not so believed, and yet she's believed, Kohenes, who's believed in general, should certainly be believed. My Greusa de Fundakis, the more wants to know, what is the Greusa, what is the deficit here that puts Fundakis on a lower level from any other Isha? Why was there a Havamir that Fundakis should not be believed? Amar of Kahana Fundakis Zua, but it's Kochamoisa. In this story, this episode that took place, she was a non-Jewish woman, and nevertheless they believed her because of Mesicha Lefi Tumahoisa. Is Zem Maklo, Vizet Tarmilo, Vizet Kever Shekavartiv Bo. Telling a story with all the details of the story about his Makel, about where they buried him, who buried him, about his knapsack. I mean, you see, this is a Mesicha Lefi Tuma. V'chein Toni Abba Berei Derab Minyomi, Barchia, Fundokis, Overes Kochav Moisa. Not believed under the law of Edus, like any other Jewish woman. And Mesicha Lefi Tuma Isa, Zeh Makol Zeh Tamil, V'zeh Kevesh HaKavarti Bo. So the Gemara now raises the following objection. How could you say that we judge and define the Edus of Fundakus as Mesicha Lefi Tuma of Ha'ayeh Chavereinu Ka'amrila? The Bnei Levi said to her, where are Chavereinu? Hare lo hi ascha b'sicha l'saper. She didn't take the initiative to start telling us the stories of Maklo, etc. But rather, they initiated the question and said, where is our colleague that we left here, before? And she responded that he's dead. Here's his Makel, here's his Tarmil. So since they took the initiative and opened up with a discussion, trying to find out where is he, where is our Chaver, we derive from this that it's not a case of Mesicha Lefi Tuma. She was responding to their initiative, to their question. How could you believe her in such a case? It's Edus, and we don't believe a woman who's not Jewish for Edus. When says came the Chazisinu, the Fundakis saw that they were coming back to the Fundak from, if you recall, Tzar Ir Hatzmarim. Immediately, Bachya, she started crying. She broke out in tears. Amullah, Ayeh Chavirenu, they were shocked that she was crying. They already suspected something terrible had happened. The Amrulem Mes Mukvartir. So she opened up the conversation, so to speak, the dialogue with Bechi. It's as if she had started with a literal verbal dialogue. And that's called Mesicha Lefi. A man came to testify in the presence of Rabbi Tarfon that he saw the husband of this woman died and that she's allowed to get married. Omar Lo, Rabbi Tarfon turns to this person, B'ni, what did you see? Describe it to me. How do you know that he died? Omar, he responds to Rabbi Tarfon, Anivahu, her husband and me, we were going together on the road. A whole group of Chayalim were pursuing us. They wanted to destroy us. V'nisla b'yichud shel zayis. That person who was with me, accompanying me, the husband of this woman, he grabbed onto a yichur, which is an anaf, a branch of a zayis. Upshachal, and he ripped this branch out of the tree, and he made it into a kind of a weapon, so to speak, a kind of a makel to fight against this Gaius. And with that stick running after them, he was able to make them into fugitives. They ran away. Amarti lo, I responded, Aryeh, you're strong like a lion, Yasher Kokach. Apparently, you get the impression that he didn't recognize the name of the person. He didn't know his name. But because of the masechet, he called him Aryeh, because he manifested the heroism, the strength of an Aryeh, of a lion. Amali said to me, how do you know that my name is Aryeh? Kach korno si be'iri, Yochanan b'Rebbe Yonasan Aryeh de Mikfar Shifya. So his name was not Aryeh, but people gave him a kinui, like a nickname or a pseudo name, even in his city, because of his gvura. He was well known. His name was really Yochanan Barab Yonasan, but they gave him the appellation Aryeh. So from this story, you see that the one who's testifying knew his name and the name of his city. Sorry about that. I had forgotten to put my phone on silent, but I took a break in order to help with a simcha upstairs. So the Gemara continues. And the Gemara says, Tan Rabbana. Maisa, we have the story about a person who testified in front of Rabbi Tarfon. And he describes in great detail how they were going together on a journey. Goyim were running after them, and he knew that his name was Aryeh, or at least he guessed that his name was Aryeh, and it was confirmed. And that was the nickname that they gave this person by the name of Yochanan b'Rebbe Yonasan. Liyomim. And from this story, in which the maid knew the name of this Aryeh and the city he came from, Liyomim Chola, this same husband died after Chola, and I can testify to the effect that his wife is allowed to get married because I know him. Behisi Rabbi Tarfanis Ishta. So Gemara is upset about this. The Rabbi Tarfon lo boy drisha v'chakira. It sounds like he was matir this woman to get remarried based on the story that this individual told him without investigating. We need for edus drisha v'chakira. Wasanya ma'isem adam echad. Shebol ifnei Rabbi Tarfon lahoyd edus leishav. Omar lo, Rabbi Tarfon said to Bini, echat hayodei edus zu. What did you see, and how do you know he died? Omar lo, that witness said, Anivahu hayuholchi b'derech v'radav achrenu gayis v'nitla b'yichur te'ena. The story is pretty much identical to the previous story, except instead of a yichur shel zayis, it's a yichur shel te'ena. Ufshacho. He grabbed one of the branches of this fig tree, made it a makel, and he starts running after the guys. And the guys of soldiers are running away from him. Amarti lo, Yasher Kochacha Aryeh, Amali, Yafa Kivanta Lishmi, Yasher Koch, that you called me Aryeh, Shekach Korno Si Be'iri, in my city, that's what they call me. Yochanan ben Yonasan Aryeh Dimikfar Shichya. Same story. Liyomim cholu mes, and therefore I'm testifying. Amalei, and Rabbi Tarfon tried to fool him in order to be Doresh v'choker, and he said, Lo kach amartoli, didn't you tell me that his name was Yochanan ben Yonasan b'mikvar Shichya Aryeh? Meaning that Aryeh is a part of the name of his kfar, Shichya Aryeh, kfar Shichya Aryeh. That's not the name of the person, that's the name of the city, Amalo. So the witness responded, and he said, Lo, that's not what I said to you. Kach amarti lecha. Yochanan ben Yonasan Aryeh, dimikfar Shichya. But his name is Aryeh. That's not the name of his location of his village. Now Rabbi Tarfon was again trying to fool him and test him and investigate him. And he tried different approaches to try to get him messed up, caught in a lie, twice, 3 times. The kiva and a story of it every single time. He repeated what he said, and he said, "This is what I said. I didn't say something else." He see Rabbi Tarfon is Ishta. So why is it that in this occasion, this episode, he needs to be Doresh v'choker, and in the other case, he just accepts his testimony without Drisha v'chakira? More answers to Tanoi. This is a subject of a debate amongst the Tanoim. Do you require Bidika and Chakira with regard to Eidus Isha? And this is a machlokas between 2 braisos in the transmission of exactly what Rabbi Tarfon did, Sanya. We learned in a brisa in Bodkim Edei Noshin. B'drisha v'chakira div Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva is of the opinion that when Edim come to testify that a person died and we want to be matir his wife, no drisha v'chakira. Rabbi Tarfon Omer Bodkin b'drisha v'chakira. Become miflagi b'Rab Chanina. Their argument really stems from Rabbi Chanina. The Omer Rab Chanina dvar Torah echad dini mominus v'echad dini nefashos b'drisha v'chakira shenevar mishpat echad yelachem. Uma tam Omer b'dini mominos ein tzricha b'drisha v'chakira shelo tinol belis b'tnei lovin. So that even if Dini Mominos requires Drisha v'chakira because of Mishpat Echad Yelachem, nevertheless, the Rabbanim made a takana to waive the requirement of Drisha v'chakira in Dini Mominos in order to make it easier for people to extend loans. So if they need testimony to support the fact that they haven't been paid back, they don't need to scare away the Eidim with Drisha v'chakira and reject the aid. So Rabbanan would make you with regard to Dini Mominos, and they waived the requirement of Drisha v'chakir for aid. And now we can clarify our issue about Eidus Isha. My comifli, what's the machloka? What lies at the heart of the machloka between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Tarfon? Mar Savar, according to Rabbi Akiva, Keva de Ika Ksuba le Mishkal. She wants to collect her ksuba when she gets married to someone else. Is Kedini Mominos tummy? We're going to classify Eidus Isha as Dini Mominos because the impact and the repercussions of this testimony to be matir her to marry someone else is no get to the ksubah to Dini Mominos. And on Dini Mominos, the Chacham made a takana that we alleviate and waive the requirements of Eidim of Drisha v'chakir. Mar Savar, on the other hand, Rabbi Tarfon holds, came in the Kosharayna and Ishas Ish the Alma, the thrust and the essence of this Eidus, the primary element of this Eidus, is to be matir and HSE. And that's Kedini Nefashos Tom. Right? Abol HSE is Chayav Chenek. So we're going to be matir ha to shuk. That's Kedini Nefashos. For that we require Eidus. The Gemara ends the masechet with Divrei Agadata. Omer Rab Elazar, Omer Rab Chanina, Talmidei Chacham, Rab Shalom Olam, Shenemar V'chol Banaich Limudei Hashem, V'Rav Shalom Banoich. In Gemara Brachas it adds Al Tikri Banaich El Bonoich. So Rabbi Elazar darshan to his students that Talmidei Chachamim are bonei olam al yedei shalom. Hadron alecha isha basra uslikala masechet Yevamot. Hadron alecha isha basra uslikala masechet Yevamot. Hadron alecha isha basra v'salika le masechet. Thank you very much.